So hello guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video. And I've been playing the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake for a little while now. So far I'm on World 7, and I have been having a great time with it. I played some of it on my live stream, and yeah, it's just a great remake so far. And I am a huge fan of the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, as well as DK94. Both of those games are up there as some of my favorite puzzle platformers of all time. So I was ecstatic to see that they were bringing it back. And I feel like they did a great job bringing this formula back, since it controls really good with the 3D graphics. I was a little worried how they would translate the controls and everything, but it feels just as satisfying as the original game. Because part of the appeal of Mario vs. Donkey Kong and DK94 is completing these puzzles in the fastest and most efficient ways possible. Not always doing the intended route. I like skipping and cheesing some of the paths just so you can complete the puzzles in a faster way. It's just so fun to pull off. And that appeal is still here. I'm just so glad you could still kind of pull off those tricks with your moveset, because the moveset is absolutely amazing. I guess if you're coming in from 2D Mario, it might feel a bit stiff, but it's supposed to feel tight. It's supposed to kind of replicate those kind of arcade Donkey Kong style physics and everything. But I feel like that works really well, and it kind of fits really well within the puzzle platformer nature of this game. And all the moves you could pull off are just really fun. Like the handstand, backflip, triple jump. They are just really fun to use overall, and they're just really fun. And once you get used to them, you'll start finding these alternate paths to each of these puzzles and everything. So it's just great overall, and I'm glad that is kind of intact here. One thing that I will nitpick about a little bit is that they did make it a tad bit easier. I wouldn't say it really hurts this game at all. I guess it would have been nice if there was also fall damage and the original clear condition by getting a certain number of points to get a star. But honestly, I don't really think that, with the fall damage thing, I feel like these levels are designed in a way to where they could still be somewhat challenging without the fall damage. And I feel like they weren't really, I don't think they were really designed around that. I think that was just a thing, in the original game, just because it was kind of replicating, DK94 in the original Donkey Kong. I would have loved to have the option for fall damage in the remake, but I don't really think it makes the game too much easier not having it here, because there are still other obstacles and other things that you'll have to manage here. But yeah, I would have liked the option for a harder difficulty here, but that's just kind of my nitpick. And then also the change of the clear condition, rather than getting a certain amount of points in each level, you just have to get the presence now to 100% a level. And honestly, I don't really mind it that much, because they did add the time attack mode, which is kind of a new challenging option, and that adds a new way to kind of replay these levels and everything. And I feel like it kind of felt a little bit like padding in the original game with the point system. Yeah, it would have been great to have the option, but I don't really mind too much that it's gone. So most of the things that they removed aren't really things that defined the original game too much. I feel like most of the things that they kept in this remake are things that make sense here, and that really kind of define that DK94 formula. So I don't really mind that it's a tad bit easier, because the puzzles are still fun, and they aren't effortlessly easy. I would say they're still at a moderate difficulty going later in the game. They still feel, like, very fun and everything. But they're not too easy, I would say. They did add that new casual mode. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't add, like, a hard mode alongside that, but, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense for, like newer players and everything, even though I would say, like, that a kid could definitely beat the original game and everything. Like, I beat the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, like, when I was kinda young, so, I don't think it's too difficult before, like, the plus worlds and the expert levels. So, but I guess the casual mode, I guess, like, it's a separate mode, so it's not too big of a deal. I just wish they had, like, a hard mode option. It just seems like Mario games are really kind of only looking at that easy mode aspect, but yeah. But some other things that I really enjoyed about this remake are the fact that they added new content here. The new content in this remake is great so far, from what I've played. With the 2 new worlds, they honestly feel like levels that would have been in the original game. Nintendo Software Technology definitely didn't lose their touch when it came to, like, designing these DK94 style levels, because they have a lot of really cool gimmicks, and they added, like, some elements of, like, modern Mario games that were kind of implemented really well with the Mario vs. Donkey Kong / DK94 formula. Like, one of those things was, like, the 3D World style springs, where you can kind of, like, carry them, I guess in Mario Maker as well, like, where you can kind of carry them and then, like, set them down, kind of like some of, like, the enemies in the game that you can kind of pick up, or the keys that you can pick up. And another thing are the warp boxes. I think that's a pretty cool addition as well, since it definitely kind of makes for some pretty interesting puzzles. And there were also, like, some completely new things that they added as well, like the ice. The ice is just really cool, and I think that's, like, it kind of works similarly to, like, obviously to, like, the, Sir Shovel-Lots, where you can, like, slide under a surface. That makes a lot of sense. But it's also kind of, like, adds a little bit of challenge as well, since it does kind of have, like, ice physics, and you do have to be careful because it is a little more slippery, but it's just really fun overall. And they also added, like, these flower things in, like, the Merry Mini Land that kind of, like, produce wind, and you can use that to, like, move keys, springs, or yourself around the level. So it's a pretty cool new mechanic. And the new worlds are also really nice as well. I really like their theming and everything. Like, Merry Mini Land is almost kind of like Mini Land Mayhem, which is another Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. So it's pretty cool that they referenced another game in this series, like, with the style of the original game and everything. And then also, like, the ice world looks really nice overall. Like, the music is great, and it just looks really nice overall. And also, like, all of the returning worlds from the original game also kind of got, like, a makeover in this remake, and the backgrounds look really good. They kind of remind me of the backgrounds from the 3D World style of Super Mario Maker 2, which is great, because I think they looked really dynamic and really nice overall. It definitely doesn't feel cheap. Like, I am surprised that this game doesn't feel cheap, because, like, almost all the other Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, aside from maybe, like, the first 3, kind of felt like pretty cheap products overall. I mean, yeah, this doesn't feel like a huge AAA title, but it still feels very polished for what it is. And I am definitely, like, happy that Nintendo Software Technology is, like, making higher quality products now, like, during the Switch era. Like, I definitely have a lot of faith in them for, like, making new games and everything, because it just looks great overall. And another thing, kind of adding on to the thing that I mentioned earlier about the music in the ice world, the music overall is just great in general. Like, in the original game, the music was alright. There were a few tracks that were really good and stood out as bangers, but the remake all the songs that I've heard are either pretty good or excellent. It's just great. Like, the presentation in this game is great. And another aspect of the presentation that I also wanted to touch on are the cutscenes, because the cutscenes are also pretty high quality as well. Definitely better than the slideshows from the original game. Though, one thing that I will give the original game with its cutscenes over this game is the voice clips, because they did cut some of the voice clips from the remake, which is a little disappointing. I guess Nintendo doesn't really want Mario to, like, speak that much anymore, or, like, say certain things anymore. I mean, it's a tad disappointing, but I mean, like, it's kind of weird, because he does say some things that he does say in the original, like, "Let's go, little guys," and different things like that, and like, "Hey, come back here," but he doesn't say, like, "Come back here, you big monkey." So, it is a bit weird with that, but honestly, I don't mind too much. I kind of expect Nintendo to change things like that in the remake. I mean, it would have been great if it had all the original voice clips, but I would say, like, we at least got some pretty good cutscenes out of this remake, and I feel like on its own, this remake does have its own charm to it. And I feel like the original game also has its own charm, so, like, while it is a little disappointing that we didn't get all of those voice clips and things, and also, like, animations as well, it is nice that we did get, like, some good cutscenes, and the, like, basically the visual style is pretty great overall. And another thing with the visual style that I forgot to touch on when I was talking about with, like, the backgrounds and things, the models in the game just look great. Like, I really like how Mario and Donkey Kong specifically look. You can really see a lot of detail on them, and they definitely look like they're promotional renders in this game, which I think is definitely a plus. And another thing is the animations. It is, like, a little disappointing that they didn't keep all of the ones from the original game, but I do like that they kept some of them, like the one where Mario's kind of crushed and he's, like, flattened. I think that's kind of funny that they kept that, but yeah, just overall, I would say this remake is pretty great. Like, I'm not sure if it's the definitive version of the original game yet. I'll just have to see when I finish the game, but it is a very good remake of the original game. And so far, I would recommend it. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.